All right, if you're in the tech space in India, listen up. There's a big deadline coming in 2025 that you absolutely cannot afford to ignore. We're talking about a whole new set of cybersecurity rules that are going to change the game for how your company handles threats. So let's break down exactly what this CERT-In compliance is all about.
Okay, so who's the one making all these rules? Well, the main player here is CERT-In. That stands for the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. The easiest way to think about them, they're kind of like the nation's digital firefighters or paramedics. They operate under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and they have one huge job: keeping India's entire cyberspace safe.
Right, so you might be thinking, great, more regulations. But hang on, it's really important to see this as less of a burden and more of a national defense plan for the digital age. Let's dig into the why behind all this.
Look, the simple fact is cyber threats are exploding, and India is right in the crosshairs. We're not just talking about protecting some top-secret government files here. No, this is about protecting the entire digital backbone of the economy. You know, the infrastructure that your business, my business, every business runs on. CERT-In's role is to be the quarterback, coordinating a fast, unified defense across that whole playing field. Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get to the what. This is the part you really need to pay attention to. What exactly does this 2025 rulebook require from your company? Let's dive into the core must-knows. So this whole thing really boils down to 4 main pillars. First up, you've got mandatory incident reporting. That's all about making sure everyone's on the same page fast. Second, log retention, basically keeping a digital paper trail. Third, there are some pretty strict Know Your Customer or KYC rules for data centers and VPN providers. That's to stop people from doing shady stuff anonymously. And finally, every single company has to appoint what's called a nodal officer. Think of them as your official point person for CERT-In.
Let's zoom in on that log retention thing for a second. Just picture this. Your company gets hit by a cyber attack. What's the very first thing investigators are going to ask for? Evidence, right? The logs. And that's where this number becomes super important, 180. You now have to securely keep your system logs for 180 days. Yeah, that's a full 6 months. And they need to be ready to go at a moment's notice if CERT-In comes knocking.
Now, out of all these new rules, there's one that really dials up the pressure. It's the most urgent of them all, and honestly, it's going to force most companies to completely rethink their emergency plans.
So, what's the single most time-sensitive make-or-break rule in this whole framework?
The number is 6. Just 6 hours. Think about that. From the moment you realize you've had a serious incident, we're talking a data breach, a ransomware attack, you name it, a timer starts, and you have exactly 6 hours to get that report over to CERT-In. Not 24 hours, not even 12, 6. This is, without a doubt, a total game changer. And let's be crystal clear, this is not some friendly suggestion. If you miss that 6-hour window, the consequences are serious. We're talking about huge fines, the possibility of legal trouble, and the kind of damage to your reputation that can absolutely sink a company. This deadline, it's set in stone.
Okay, so the stakes are high, the clock is ticking fast. The big question is, so what do we do? But look, the point of this isn't to scare you, it's to get you ready. And the good news is, there's a pretty straightforward playbook you can follow to get your company compliant.
The whole process can be broken down into 4 clear steps. Step 1, start with a cybersecurity audit. You got to take an honest look under the hood to see where you're vulnerable. Step 2, build your incident response machine. Put the right processes and tools in place so you can actually meet that 6-hour deadline. Step 3 is so important. Train your people, all of them. Cybersecurity is everybody's job now, not just the IT folks. And finally, step 4, get help. Don't go it alone. Partner up with cybersecurity experts who live and breathe this stuff.
Now, let's get real for a minute. This stuff isn't always a walk in the park. Most companies hit 2 big walls: not enough money in the budget and not enough experts on the payroll. So how do you get past that? It's about being smart. You invest in targeted training, you use automation to take care of the grunt work, and yeah, you bring in those outside experts to fill in the knowledge gaps.
It's also really important to zoom out a bit. These certain rules don't exist in a vacuum. They're actually part of a huge global shift in how we think about data and security. So a question a lot of people have is, how does this all fit with other big regulations you've probably heard of, like GDPR in Europe.
And this is a really key point to understand. Think of it like this. GDPR is all about protecting the individual person's data and their privacy rights. It's focused on you, the person. CERT-In, on the other hand, is focused on protecting the entire country's digital infrastructure. It's about national security. So they're not competing, they're two sides of the same coin. If you do business in India, you absolutely need a plan that covers both.
And that really brings us to the bottom line, the biggest takeaway from this whole explainer. These 2025 CERT-In rules, they are not just another item on the IT department's to-do list. This is a fundamental culture shift. It makes cybersecurity a core part of everyone's job, from sales to HR to the C-suite. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. It's not about whether your tech is ready. Is your entire organization, your people, ready for what's coming?